Welcome to Grow My Etsy Shop podcast, the drips of knowledge you need to start growing. Hey, welcome. So today we're going to be talking about TikTok. Now, disclaimer, Jared, are you an expert in TikTok? No. So if you're watching this on YouTube or my podcast, you might want to watch another video. But I am connected with some people who are running this stuff for Etsy specifically, and I can see what's working for them, and so I'm going to share some of that. Now this, I'm going to give you a disclaimer. I'm a paid marketer. That's what I do for a living. I'm a growth marketer. The stuff I'm going to be talking about has nothing to do with any of that stuff. This is all organic growth. And just if you're looking at TikTok and saying like, yeah, I feel like this is a channel that my people are on, let's figure out the best way to reach them. So we're going to jump into that. Now, the first thing you need to note is that there are two different ways to sell on TikTok. So number one is you have a link in your bio that takes people to your Etsy shop and website. Number two is TikTok Shop, which you probably have heard a lot about. I'm going to give you my 2 cents on TikTok Shop. And this was actually a question that came from the mastermind yesterday. And then it bled into me doing some research and looking at it even more to see if I gave the right answer, realistically. And then I was like, okay, I think I gave the right answer. So TikTok Shop is a way to sell. It's like TikTok's own e-com backend. So think of it like Shopify that is ran through TikTok. So people aren't leaving TikTok when they buy on TikTok Shop. It's all happening native on the platform. And this can, in theory, make it very seamless experience for a buyer to see something, love what they see, click on a link, never leave the app, purchase the product, and off they go. So on paper, this makes a lot of sense. Now, this is where I start to move away from it from an Etsy standpoint. So most of us are handmade sellers. TikTok requires that you ship out in 3 days. So if you can ship out in 3 days, great. If you can't, they ping you. So they take the money right out of your account. It is refunded immediately if it's not in transit within the 3-day period. So for a lot of handmade sellers, that can be something that's a little intimidating. Number two, TikTok will sit on your money for a while. So as you're making sales, they actually don't pay you out for like 8 to 15 days. And so you need to be prepared for operating a business without receiving the funds from what you're selling for a good while. I was reading that the more successful you are, and like prove that you're a good shop and can do those things, that window will shrink. But for the most part, a lot of people are kind of in that 8 to 15 day range. So something you need to know. Now, the number one thing that I think is important to know is just how do you become successful on TikTok Shop? I think what a lot of people are drawn to TikTok Shop about is the affiliate program that's built into it. So again, on paper, this is a really cool thing to hear. Not only do people see your product on TikTok and then can buy directly from TikTok, but then they have a built-in affiliate program where TikTok creators can look through TikTok Shop, find the things they want to promote those things, and then share commissions. Anytime I mention affiliate marketing, people's ears perk up, especially Etsy sellers, because Etsy sellers pretty much are using Etsy as an affiliate. So they don't pay anything until Etsy makes a sale, and then they pay a percentage of their sales to Etsy for that sale. So an affiliate marketing is just like, well, can I just do the exact same thing with people or content creators? Now I don't have to market. Now they know they have their own audiences, and I can kind of sit back with my feet up and just sell products while someone else is doing my marketing, which is on paper exactly what affiliate marketing is supposed to be. The only issue with something like this is that you have to have a product that's selling really, really well for an affiliate to want to be a part of it, because affiliate doesn't want to jump ship onto something they think's a good idea, but no one else does. Does that make sense? So they want to jump on something that's already in motion, that has a proven track record that it's going to sell. And they're going to be able to see your numbers and be able to see how well you're doing the same way from their side. You can see how good of an affiliate they are, and yada, yada, yada. And so you aren't probably going to get great affiliates unless your products are doing well. And so you have to then take that initial jump yourself, which is that you have to create content that's going to promote the fact that you can sell, and then it attracts affiliates. But this is the other side of it, is that it takes hundreds, if not thousands, of affiliates before you really are in that stage of I can sit back and wake up and affiliates are doing my marketing for me. Now, the thing is that affiliates also work in waves. So they don't just sit and promote things forever. It's that they promote and then they're on to the next product, on to the next product. And so you can get large waves of sales and exposure that can come from that. But it's the sustainability requires you to be innovative on your end. So that's my big reason at this stage, where I believe that most Etsy shops who are doing well on Etsy or doing well on their website probably aren't ready or wanting to take on that responsibility as a solopreneur, meaning I'm going to wear the hat now of TikTok. If you have someone in your business that's willing to take that on, or then I think it could be something that's really great. If not, I think it could be something that could kind of drag you down. So what I want to talk about is how can you make money from TikTok without necessarily opening a TikTok shop, which is what you're going to see most people promoting. I think there's another way to do this, and that's through finding your target audience through correct content creation. So if you've been on Instagram and Facebook for a while, you already know this hamster wheel feel of, I try to do this, the algorithm doesn't promote me, and I get stuck. TikTok is a little bit more generous with their views. It makes it a little bit easier to push content out in front of the right people and to get more exposure. So what you're doing on Instagram might not be working, but you can do things on TikTok that can get more of a reach. Now, this is a testament from several Etsy sellers who do this. They say, I've posted on Instagram. This is usually the type of views I get. I put that same thing on TikTok. I get way more. Or I got this huge hit on TikTok. I brought it over to Instagram and it just didn't take off. So I'm going to kind of lay out a formula that I think is helpful. And I'm going to skip some of the stuff that you can already get on the internet, which is like, you need to research your target audience. You need to research. Let's just bang through this stuff. Yes, you need to understand your target audience. Yes, you need to understand your product. Yes, you need to understand the benefit of your product. Now, let me make sure you understand that. The benefit of your product is the best way that you can sell anything is to say you can get a result, or this bubblegum helps you sleep. This product will make your house smell good. This will give you a six-pack. And then if you can add a without, meaning without going to the gym 7 days a week. So I can get a six-pack without going 7 days. Your house will smell good without having to scrub it to the bone every single day. What was the first one I said? I can't remember. But there's a typical way to get a result. And if you can promise something without that typical way of getting a result, so like you can get a gallery wall at a fourth of the price, or without breaking the bank is probably a better way of saying that. So you can get a gallery wall without breaking the bank. How do you get a gallery wall without breaking the bank? How do you get a gallery wall without spending $1,000? That's what people want to see. That's the intriguing hook. And if you can kind of build products around or understand that at least about your own product, what am I giving people? What is the experience that they're going to have? And how am I giving it to them without the typical hoops that they need to jump through? What hooks like these do is they grab the attention of the right people. Because what happens is when you post something on a platform like this, it pushes out to see who's interested in this stuff. The last thing TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or any other social media wants to do is push a bunch of content that nobody cares about. But there's content that people do care about. It's just that they have their, if someone pushes to me the new Star Wars movie, I'm not necessarily a Star Wars guy. And so I'm going to scroll past that. But there's going to be some Star Wars nerd who's freaking losing his mind watching the new trailer. So two people both have value to Facebook or whoever social media we're on. One is all in, the other is all out. And so they know this and they need help from you to be able to capture that person. And that's where that on-text hook comes in. So one of the notes from someone in my mastermind, this is the thing that worked for them. And I'm actually going to share screen. So if you're on YouTube, you can see this. I can't turn their audio on because then I get my copyright issues and yada, yada, yada. So here's what she shared with the mastermind group. She said, number one, qualify your customer. Create an intriguing hook. Like, if you like blank, to weed out uninterested viewers. So meaning, if you like this song, if you like this artist, if you like this type of food, if you're the type of person who does yoga before 5 a.m., you're going to like this. If you're the type of person who likes to spend all summer in the pool, watch this. Like that kind of stuff. Because then you qualify yourself. You look at it and you say, oh yeah, that's me. I do yoga before 5 a.m. Or that'd be crazy. It's like 4 a.m. yoga. Or I do spend the whole summer swimming. Or you spend the whole summer sunburned. Yeah, I do. Look at me. If you're on YouTube, you can see me. I'll get sunburned sitting by my window. And so, yeah, what's up? I'm interested. Okay, she then says, use a trending beat drop to create an intent or anticipation. So this means, I think this is probably the best thing you can take away from this podcast today. So what she's saying is, she's going to reveal her product. And so, hey, if you're the type of person who but the music is timed that you know that there's a beat drop coming. So the only one I could currently think of is that Little John one that's like, dun, 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 everybody stop. Turn down for what? Beep, beep. You know what I'm saying? But you know that there's a moment where the beat's going to drop. And so if you see this hook and then you're hearing the music and you know the reveal is going to come when that beat drops and that music is leading you up to that moment, guess what that's going to do? Either you're going to look at it and you're going to say, do I sunburn all summer? No, I'm out of here. Or am I interested in the new Star Wars? No, nerd, I'm out of here. Or you're going to say, oh my gosh, I do yoga at 4 a.m. This is something that's for someone who's doing yoga at 4 a.m. And I can hear, da, 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 and everybody shuts. Hopefully that's not the audio you're using, but you know what I'm saying. And then you wait for that reveal. What that's doing, clocking that second of view times. That's what makes TikTok say, ooh, people are interested. People like this. And who's the type of person that's liking this? It looks like them yoga folks over here are liking this stuff. And so it starts to then qualify your audience. It starts to move it more towards that direction. And because you're getting that wait for that drop to take place, you're drawing in views, which then opens up for the reveal. The reveal is when you then show the solution to the product. So, let's just say our sunburn one, you have kids run around the pool. You got your on-text headline that says, hey, you're sunburning all summer. You're putting sunscreen on 24/7. They're still getting sunburned. You got your beat that's building up for what you're doing. Boom, you make the reveal of your product at that time that solves that. So in the video I'm going to show you, she's a digital print, and her whole thing is, hey, if you like this type of stuff or this music, and then she turns it to reveal what it is. So we're going to jump into that. I'm going to have you watch it. So I can't have the audio on because then I get hit with the copyright stuff, but you'll see that she is turning this picture slowly. You just have to take my word that she's doing it on a beat drop. You can see her headline at the top that's qualifying her audience. And then one of the key things here is that it abruptly ends. And what she's trying to do here is increase the watch time. By increasing her watch time, or how many times someone watches a reel, so she's increasing the watch time. And let me make sure this is clear, by having that anticipation and then that drop, and then she ends it quickly because then people rewatch it so that they can see the product closer and whatnot. And that's that rewatch. That's now you're just triggering all the things that TikTok wants to see, and that's what's going to help it move and promote and get out there. So this is something that when she's made this video just like this, she just uses different products, and every single time she's doing it, she's getting success with what she's doing, and some are going more viral than others, but there's always success that's connected to this. And so her words, not mine, she's like, I'm going to start posting my guts out because this is working for me. And and one of the things I want you to know is that you don't necessarily have to care about what your feed looks like, because you're just trying to get exposure through the algorithm. So think of it like a giant freeway of just content that's getting on the freeway. I don't want you to think about what's on your driveway. I want you to think about how many cars you can send on the freeway. And so if you find something that's working really well, you just want to send that on the freeway as much as you can. And so posting your guts out in that scenario. So in her things, like, I'm standing outside my front door, I'm doing the slow reveal. It's just one of my products that I have that I'm turning. Here I go. And she's going to go. Because this is important, and I probably should have mentioned this at some point. You can't have a link in your bio that works until you have 1,000 followers. So right now, she's just starting the strategy, seeing success with what she's doing, and she's gaining hundreds of followers in the process of this, but she hasn't hit her 1,000 followers yet. She's anticipating within the next couple weeks she's going to be able to do it, but it takes a bit of time to build that up. And a lot of that has to do with just TikTok trusting you and earning that trust. And so the more she's doing this, the more success she's seeing, the more followers she's gaining. TikTok then unlocks the ability to put a hyperlink. You could put a link in your bio, you can't click on it. So once you have 1,000 followers, you can put a link in the actual TikTok that leads to the product, and you can have a link in your bio that they can click and go to. So both of those are going to be really beneficial when it comes to getting sales. So right now, because she doesn't have 1,000 sales, she's getting the exposure. People are asking where they can buy it. She's getting engagement, but her sales aren't matching her volume. but she's very aware of like, I know as soon as I get this to be that they don't have to DM me to figure out where to buy it. This is going to be a lot easier for me to see sales from something like this. So this strategy, I want to leave with you as something that you can do for your shop. This doesn't intimidate me as a solopreneur to be able to say, can I use this anticipation, end it about it's, I think the sweet spot's somewhere between that 5 to 8. You want the 5-second mark. 4 second is when the beat drops, and then end the video at like the 7-8 second mark. So these are just short things that you're doing, and then rinse and repeat. I love a good process that's a rinse and repeat, and more focused on how do I get it on the freeway and less on how do I make my driveway really pretty. One of the major things I think you can do to make your driveway pretty, if that's something you're concerned about, is that you can do a carousel, and in that carousel you can kind of have your about page in there, talk about the shop, show what you sell, the problems you solve, why you got into business, your vision. That whole thing is just in a carousel. So if someone wants to learn more, they're in your profile, they want to check, they can check that out. You pin that bad boy up, you're good to go. And then maybe some still images with some longer captions. Those can work well, especially if someone's interested in visually with your product, because then they read the caption. That's what keeps them on TikTok longer. So you put some nice audio on there. And this is another thing that's worth noting. If you are opening your TikTok shop, it's going to ask if you want a business account or a creator account. You're going to want to choose creator. A business account, you can't use certain trending audios because it's copyright. So if you're a creator, you can go ham. So creator, this is what's going to help you get going. You can always switch back and forth. So if you're a business, you can go back to creator. If you're a creator, you can go to business at any time. But I wouldn't recommend going to business until you are this thing's cooking for you. Okay, go out there, post your guts out, and I'll catch you guys on the next week.